One more time.
No, it's fine. No, it's fine. We don't have any more clapping. So, hi, I'm Terrence. You can reach me on the Twitters at H1E02, and the time I talk is Rails Girls. I guess just to sort of give some context, so I had no idea I was giving this talk today, but Richard was like, you're giving a talk today, and I'm going to make you some slides. So in the spirit of, I guess, constraints in Rails, the constraints are I did not make any of these slides, and I only partially know what is on them. So like Mondo said, I work for a small company called Heroku. I'm the senior Ruby engineer, which just means I run the Ruby platform there. And I just would like to say thanks for letting me help out with this whole Rails Girls movement over the past few months. So what is Rails Girls? I don't know if many of you have heard it before, but it was started in Finland by these two people, Linda Laukas and Kari Saarinen. And basically the idea is they're trying to get more women into technology and helping them understand what about technology. And one of the big differences between a lot of other things that sort of work in this area is that the main focus is to get women excited about technology. So we're trying to build a community here and get people excited about building things so they want to come back and come to these groups like us on Rails. And how we do that is we have these a workshop that lasts over 2 days, and on the first day we have an install fest. So girls come, we help them get their computers set up with Ruby and Rails, and this can be a huge time sink and a huge pain point, like a real stopper for a lot of people, because you have different versions of OS X. Like if you're on 10.5, you need to have a developer account, download Xcode, which is like a 1 GB image, and then you get GCC, and then you compile your Ruby, and then eventually you like install Rails after like 5 hours or something. And then on 10.6 and 10.7 you have like OS X GCC stuff now, but like as a beginner, how do you even know those things exist? And then even on Windows, like how do you even know about Rails installer? Or on Linux, like there's a million distributions out there, like what is the right way to sort of get all that stuff set up? So we have a workshop on the first day just to sort of help the girls get there. So on the second day, we can actually build and deploy applications, not have to worry about sort of getting those things set up at all. So, you know, this all sounds cool. So what do we actually do during the workshops? So in the beginning, we start off with some presentations. So the first thing is we have presentations on what Rails Girls is, so the girls actually know what they've signed up for. And then the second thing is, before building a Rails application, you should probably learn a little bit of Ruby. So we run through in like a 45-minute session of just some stuff through the first few chapters of tryruby.org, doing some basic things with arrays, you know, basic math operations, strings, things like that, to sort of get you familiar with things you're going to see while building a Rails application. And then the next thing we do is sort of this bento box exercise, and the value of that is it's this mental model of sort of figuring out the different terminologies and words that are used in technology, like what is MySQL, what is Postgres, what is Nginx, like those kind of words, and sort of figure out like where you can like compartmentalize them. So like MySQL and Postgres, they're databases. Nginx is like an infrastructure thing. Rails is a framework. Ruby is what you use to do like logic things like that. So it really helps them, even if at the end of the first day they can't really program or do other things, it sort of helps them look at technology and sort of grok like what those words mean when they come across it in the real world. And the real fun part is, as developers, you guys can be coaches and stuff. And so the meat of the workshop is building these applications. So it's the first time a lot of these girls are going to be building Rails apps. And one of the cool things is they get to sort of build this thing and see it in person, like something they've done. And at the end of the workshop, they have a working application, even if it's not very complicated. So it's like a simple Pinterest-style scaffolding app. Most of you would probably build in like 15 minutes. But like we give the girls about 2 to 3 hours to sort of do it. And the reason we give them so much time is like it's their first time doing it. And we sort of split the girls into groups of 4 to 6 and pair them with a single coach. And the challenge for the coach is that a lot of these girls are non-beginners and they don't really have that technical foundation. So you have to go and explain things like Rails. Oh, it's an MVC framework. What is an MVC? And sort of go through that whole thing. What is scaffolding? And try to sort of use real world examples to sort of help them like have that grasp on what these things and commands they're typing in to the console are. So that's probably one of the biggest challenges of being a coach. And then finally, like, it's a social experience. We're trying to build a community here. We want these girls to come back, and we want more females at Austin on Rails. We want more females like in the programming and technology community as a whole. So it's about having those ties with the local coaches. So when you're being coached by someone, you can ask them like about the local events that happen here in Austin, or like what it's like to be a programmer, why you're passionate about doing it, and those kind of things. And then after the event, we try to help encourage them to do events outside, like after the workshop, and get together with a coach and maybe a few of the other girls and have these small workshops. Like that could just be in a house or a cafe. Like it doesn't have to be a big production. And for those people who are interested, it's really helpful having those kind of things. So a common question we definitely get is like, is this just for girls? And the answer is no. Rails Girls is for everyone. And the reason it's called Rails Girls is Linda was a big fan of Spice Girls, and girls is sort of just like an empowerment kind of term there. It wasn't meant to be a total, I guess, like trying to split like the whole thing up. So yeah, we definitely have guys who've come to the workshop before in the past. Like when I was coaching in Krakow, we had guys there, and they were beginners as well. So it's not just like a girl thing. And so we actually have a workshop coming up in SF, and Rich and I will both be at it. But it's not just a workshop that we do in San Francisco. We have one coming up in September in Warsaw, Poland. I was just in Paris, France, coaching at Rails Girls. In Amsterdam, Rich and I were both there, and we did a joint thing with Yuruko, which was over there, and that was a really good time, just being a few days before the conference. So like we had a lot of the attendees go into the conference, come coach and help out there. And so you really get to meet like the different developers in the community and sort of see that like we're not really that scary. We're pretty friendly and sort of just an awesome group of people. And then of course the one in San Francisco at the end of this week. And I would love to do one here in Austin, and I don't see why we can't do it. And so the things we sort of need to make this happen are, we need a bunch of coaches, like volunteers from the community who are willing to just come in, sort of give 2 days and help the girls install Rails and sort of help them teach and, you know, be a guide to help them get through there. And then we need a venue, sort of like a space to actually host the event. Thank you, Josh. And then sponsors, of course. It's not like super expensive, but it's nice to sort of just have food and other things and not have to like worry about doing those things during the middle of the workshop. And then of course we need to reach out to the girls and attendees for getting them into the thing so we can get them to be part of the workshop. And so sort of like working together as a community, it's pretty easy to see that we can make technology more accessible, not just to women, but like to people everywhere. So yeah, I would love to see this happen here in Austin. And if anyone would like to help out, just come talk to me and make this happen. That's it.
We have one more talk.